I am very, very excited to talk about our next speaker. We've spent a lot of time so far talking about all this fun technology and the services and the teams that support it, but I'd like to shift gears now and talk about it from the provider perspective. And I'd like to bring on stage Dr. Al Mansoor. Dr. Mansoor is the founder and chancellor of Hamdan bin Mohammed Smart University. It is the first e-university in the Middle East. He's the chairman of the governing board of UNESCO's Institute for Information Technologies in Education. He's also the board member in the Higher Education and Scientific Research Coordination Council in the UAE. So please join me in welcoming on stage Dr. Mansoor Al Awar. Welcome.
Thank you.
You're surrounded by all your friends today, Dr. Mansoor. It's great to have you here.
Oh, great to be here.
Good.
Thank you very much for the invitation. It's an honor.
It's great to have you. It really is. So this actually, the Smart University was really the vision of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. And he is the Prime Minister and Vice President of UAE and the ruler of Dubai. It was his vision, and it's something that you worked out together. Can you tell us a little bit what that vision is all about and what a smart university is?
I think His Highness's vision just came to that particular region in 2001. And on the day of the opening, actually, it was on 30th of September 2002, his clear instructions was that this project, this university, would become the nucleus of future higher education institutions as well as universities. And I think from that, he's a great believer that the current education system is not providing that geography in the world what it needs to be done for the future and the future generations as well.
Well, I mean, it's a very, very bold vision. I mean, certainly education changes things.
Especially, Jeff, also that the smart learning, maybe the word smart actually would have kind of ambiguity at the moment in the minds of the people. But I think being smart, being e-learning, being online learning, I think it's a total transformational thinking, what I call it the 3 T's. The total transformational thinking, a shift of paradigm on 4 basic concepts that all of us as educators are aware of, right from the learner, from the student, because the role of the learners into the smart world is totally, absolutely different from what they've been doing so far, as being sometimes in that part of the world, being spoon-fed by professors. Now they are taking the lead. There will be the learner's centricity is coming over. The role of the faculty. The role of faculty is changing amazingly. Rather than, it's just being transformed from teaching to being a coach, to being a mentor. And I think as we do in the sports as well, I mean, the coach role is very, very difficult. No matter how much, I mean, even the football, for baseball, for soccer, everything. The coach, that's the role of the faculty is changing. And in that regard, actually, faculty needs to be trained. I mean, people need to be a little bit aware of how to do things online on a smart basis. The third component is the curriculum. Today, we have kind of a revolution in terms of the knowledge. It's all available on, just Google it, you know, anything that you want to understand. So that the curriculum is a little bit changing in terms of, it's exposing actually our intellectual capabilities as educators and professors and academicians to be able to develop knowledge. And that means, I'm not trying to be kind of offensive on my colleagues as academicians, but we used to have enjoyable life of our notes for a few years, and then even the exams. So the smart learning is bringing that concept of challenging and in terms of capability of development. The fourth component is the learning environment, which again, a total transformational thinking up to it, because previously we were in a classroom, we were talking about it last night with the media, and today it's a mobile or a tablet or an iPad or laptop or a desktop. So it's totally different thing is coming with a smart.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting chatting with the media, which, by the way, they really have a deep understanding of the role of education in the Middle East. But I think they were really struggling with this, and certainly I would guess that a lot of people are struggling with this concept also. What kinds of barriers are you finding that you're having to deal with? And I would guess it comes from all directions.
I think, again, it's something new. People used not to be very comfortable with, because the change which is happening from the comfort zone to a very, very unstable zone. And the most thing that it is challenging is to understand that the smart learning is a solution. It's a solution to so many problems that we have. Like Einstein said, if we think about the solution in the same way that we have created those problems, so that will never be resolved. Yeah. So we are facing problems. We are leaving people behind. Education is not becoming kind of, a tool, or accessibility to it could be easy, but people are, just being left behind. So in order to make that particular shift, the rigidity of the systems at the moment, you have a specific number in the classroom. You cannot exceed that classroom, that wall. You have a specific amount of money to be paid to accommodation, to health insurance, to whatsoever, and the list goes on. That's one of the barriers, that people understanding the culture of a smart learning. The second, excuse me, educators. I know you, a lot of you being educators. We as academicians, and especially the mindset of commissioners of academic accreditation, they are obsessed by traditional way of learning. They're obsessed by conventionality. They don't want to do this. Look at the league tables for all universities around the world. Their standards is a standstill, a status quo. Whoever wants to join that particular league, they have to fulfill this, which nothing applies to the smart learning and the future of learning. So I think the academic commissioners for accreditation, they need this another hurdle. You know what I used to tell my colleagues and the commissioners in the United Arab Emirates? I said, you guys praising, good thing to praise the smart learning, but like I got a Ferrari car, and yet I have to be pulled by a couple of horses. How can that would be possible? So you need to liberate this particular concept, isn't it, gentlemen, right? So that's the concept we need. Oh, you're ashamed? So people that are against this idea maybe sometime. But at the end of the day, those type of, obstacles, it will be for a time. Change is coming. People have all educators around the world in the conventional tradition, they are concentrating on the top management, concentrating on managing people, on managing buildings, and managing finance. When it comes to the most crucial part, Jeff, which is managing learning, we sit back. And we are so happy because we are leaving so many people around, we don't care. And then we talk about, well, the market is changing, we need to fulfill the requirement of the marketplace and the workforce, and so on and so forth. So these are typical kind of problems that they face. However, we have put the kind of a leap forward into thinking. And I think to be smart, we have 3 words. Ladies and gentlemen, please memorize those 3 words carefully for anything that smart we do. The first thing, accessibility. If you're not accessible, not letting people access to knowledge, then you are not doing it smart, because still there are barriers and doors and gates will be closed in front of lots of population around the world from getting the right education and to have a decent life. So that's the first thing, accessibility. What we have done in Hamdan bin Mohammed Smart University, for instance, we have kind of tried to outreach the learners. That is why we redefine who is a typical learner for HBMSU, for Hamdan bin Mohammed Smart University. We think that the university should be able to impact the society. This is all of our dreams as educators are. And we have classified our learners into 4 categories as a pyramid. But the base of the pyramid, we call them the 4 C's model. We have casual learners. Those people who been inspired by a public seminar or a public workshop or attending the conference, they will become a learner for HBMSU. The second layer is committed learner that would be talking about professional development, for instance. They become a part of HBMSU. And then the third component is the concentrated learner, and that is where the research-driven degrees are offered, like bachelor, master's, PhD. At the top of the pyramid is the executive education. As you go up, the number decreases. And as you go up, the impact of the higher education institution would be a little bit minimized to a certain people. So in order to be able to achieve for outreach of the people, we got the only university in the Arab world who dared to go to kind of an indoor amusement park for kids in Dubai. We call it Kidzania. So we are there, and for the last 4 years, 600,000 people been going through the system, because this is a simulation of a city, Jeff. People, they have their own currency called kiddos. And when the kids from age of 4 to 12, they go there, so they've been trained by HMSU platform, and then they will be hired by other institutions with a higher, wages and salaries. So that was a part of accessibility. We created, because that was not enough, that was for targeting certain age. But the most important initiative that we have taken in terms of accessibility is the Cloud Campus. It's an online informal learning platform. And that Cloud Campus, recently we partnered with Starbucks in Dubai, 27 branches. People will just go and get a coffee, and then they can get also knowledge. Accessibility is a key component of that being smart. The second is flexibility. Flexibility, we have to be flexible. How many people, been out of the school because their circumstances did not allow them? For instance, in the last our graduation ceremony, the person who did the welcome on behalf of the graduates is one of our master's graduate students. It was a she. She was disabled, paralyzed, on a wheelchair. And she shared her story with the people that say, I was almost 70% over with my master's degree in previous university. But all of a sudden, I had a car accident. I was paralyzed half. So I was walking like you guys. But now I'm in a wheelchair. But the university did shut the door in front of me. They said, you are being dismissed. So the light at the end of the tunnel almost was shut off. But the light came on when the HBMSU said, you are most welcome because we are flexible. And today, ladies and gentlemen, she said, I'm proud to have the first degree honor on the master's degree level. Wow. That is something the flexibility will bring up to the part. Save your round of applause to the last point, to the 3 pillars, is the concept of affordability, ladies and gentlemen. I have been studying in both United States, my academic career in the United States and in England as well. I've been hearing long time back, Jeff, if you think that education is expensive, try ignorance. By this particular statement, we are excluding half of the population on Earth. But I would say, ignorance, ladies and gentlemen, is expensive. Education should not be so. And in that regard, this is what I deserve a cloud. Education, being smart, you're cutting off lots of expenses that our students and our people would have to be able to pay. So that is the 3 pillars, actually, which any service to being smart.
Wow. Wow. You know, it's interesting because so many people see an e-university or an e-versity as a threat to the traditional system, but actually the traditional system will live on and on. But to your point, there are so many people that just cannot have access to that system. And this is about reaching more people than the traditional systems can possibly do. So this is not an issue of either or, it's really and.
This is a phenomenon that most of our media people always will struggle with. Let me point out this particular example, and I think yesterday we were talking about Wright brothers.
Yes.
When they do the airplanes in 1902 in Ohio. So I think the story, the journey that the Wright brothers had in 1902, the dream that they can fly, it did not become a reality to people until 1928, when the first aircraft just crossed the Atlantic. Mm-hmm. And at that time, lots of newspapers in the United States and Europe, the title was very clear on both sides of the Atlantic: The Adventurers. Because those people who got the guts to do it. And today we're enjoying it. Until the Second World War, when the fleet of the air forces been quite successful in getting the winning, the commercialized came into 1958. From 1928, the Adventurers, until 1958, when the people got used to travel. Let me ask you this question, Jeff. If you have kind of, from New York, suppose you are in New York and you would like to go to Miami to have a business meeting. And I said, Jeff, go to the business meeting in a ship. Why you are laughing? I would laugh the same laugh when we say traditional education after 10 years from today and a smart education. Because it's going to be there, but people are going to use it in a different way, but not be the major way. So what I call the smart learning yesterday was a historical fiction. Today, some people, it's not their choice, and for some, it's a choice. Tomorrow, smart learning is the best choice.
Yep. I think you've got an audience that absolutely supports this, because this is an audience that believes in innovation and challenging the status quo. And it is fascinating to talk about the Wright brothers, because at the time, the smartest people in the world were saying it is a physical law of nature that keeps man from being able to fly. And today we just laugh at that. So I do believe that there will come a time when we laugh at this belief in this premise. So you're dealing with, we've talked a lot about all the barriers and the challenges and where we are. So let's fast forward. You were talking a little bit about that. Let's carry this out a few years from now. Let's say 10 years from now. What is the smart university going to look like? And more significantly, what is that impact going to have on the Middle East?
I think what we are looking at for the future vision that we have, we would like to provide free education to the whole Arab population, which is considered to be 450 million. By free education, ladies and gentlemen, I don't mean the structured learning that we used to have, the bachelor, master's, PhD. I'm talking about the 4Cs model. We have the model to be able to absorb that part. We need the crunch of knowledge to give them, get them on the job, they can have a decent life and from a family. That is our nature, our thing, the future vision of us and HBMSU, and it's yet a challenging vision. Not only that, because of the nature of the vision that we have, we go beyond the academic institutions. We consider ourselves to be an academic enterprise. We need to outreach those who have been left behind because of the circumstances that they have. In the Arab world, talking about Arab world specifically, I'm talking a little bit because of wearing my other hat in UNESCO. We presented kind of the project of a smart schools, especially in the post-disaster and post-conflict areas around the world. When you go back and replicate the whole thing in the Arab world, today we are talking about refugees, like a Syrian refugee is a global issue becoming to whole world. We are providing smart schools to be able not to those people to be left behind. For God's sake, we have 17.5 million kids being out of school in the Arab world. Syrian by themselves, refugees, they are around 3 million. If we're going to pursue to be able to educate those people through even international, arenas like United Nations, it will take us centuries before we are over. And we cannot tolerate that. The time is not with us in the Arab world. We need to accelerate the pace. That is the direction of the government of United Arab Emirates, the direction and instructions of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed. And also, we would like just to be able to accelerate that pace. And we are so proud that, Jeff, you have open-heartedly gave us the blessing that the Ellucian would be partnering into this humanitarian aid in terms of education to the Syrian refugees. And I think that is something you should be commended on. And not only by your kind self, this is an opportunity. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to ask for people who would like, we cannot do it alone. We need partners. And I know that there are so many passionate people amongst you today that they are want to jump on to be able to participate. Ladies and gentlemen, education doesn't have borders. It doesn't recognize gender, race, religion, anything. We are doing it for the rest of the world, and we are doing it for the human to be well-being. And I think we are all obliged, no matter who we are, where we are coming from, we are obliged. And you have greatly, Jeff, Ellucian has welcomed the idea, and I think that would be very great. And hopefully we are moving forward with this project. It will be a novel project. Some statistics that the UNICEF had around $600 million 3 years ago. They only been capable to educate only 60,000 students. With the same amount we can do for 3 million, ladies and gentlemen, not just only 60,000. That is exactly what we are trying to achieve for the future, to the outreach. And this is, I would say, our future vision and our future passion, to be able to contribute to the people who are really in post-disasters and post-conflict areas, which the smart learning will be kind of motivation for them to be able to do that.
Yeah, we really are at a convergence. There's a reason why yesterday we talked about this fourth industrial revolution. We actually now have the tools and the technologies, and we're close to having the infrastructure to be able to do something that we've never been able to do as a society. And we absolutely are partnered with you and everyone in the UAE in attacking this. This is the only hope that we have to lift these refugees out of poverty and to potentially have them turn into terrorists, because they won't see any future and potential for themselves.
Absolutely. Jeff, education is the only key, ladies and gentlemen. I would always consider our minds are like parachutes. They will not become functional unless they are open. And the only open for the key is the education. That's an important part, and I think we need to all to understand it very carefully.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. Dr. Mansoor, what do you think?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Well
Thank
done.
you a lot for the
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, I had an opportunity to meet Dr. Mansoor last year in Dubai, and he didn't ask me for anything. And I literally said, what can we be doing to help? And we're going to make sure that if it takes all of our technologies, that's what we're going to do. We're going to be asking you for your help and ideas also. But we really are at this crossroads. We can have a profound difference. One day when our grandchildren are bouncing on our knees, we're not going to be telling them about how much money we made, but we'll be talking about how higher education really transformed this world. So exciting. Really just a fantastic time to be in high tech and higher education.